Thank you for attending the virtual roadshow, and I'm talking to Mzwanele Memani from the Department of Small Business Development. Mzwanele, can you give us some background to yourself and the department?
Yeah, my name is Mzwanele Memani. I'm the Director for Value Chain Support in the Department of Small Business Development. And our role, as you can imagine, is to support the development and growth of small businesses in South Africa. That's really the mandate given to the department. And way back, so there's a history to small business development in South Africa. So there are policies and strategies that actually talk very clearly to the mandate. And I think there are three key themes or pillars, we call them pillars, where as a department we intervene. One of those pillars is the area of non-financial support. As you can imagine, someone who starts a business usually would need general management skills, business training, and so on. So that's an area of focus for us. And the second area is the area of market access. And again, I think when someone starts a business, it's important that they have someone who buys that product or service. So market access is another key area. And then the last area is the area of funding. As you know, again, if you start a business, sometimes people need funding, either to upscale the business or could be startup funding. Yeah. So those are the broad areas. But other than that, there's a whole lot of other things we do other than these three pillars that I've highlighted.
What is your best advice for small business owners?
I think one of the main mistakes businesses or business owners make is to think that when I start a business, the market is there, people are going to buy my product, I'm going to access support, and that's always not the case. So they start that business, and the very first hurdle they come across, if it is a startup, they come across will be someone who can fund that venture, working capital, if they do need some working capital, or in some cases it could be funding for machinery, equipment, and so on. And they battle in that area and get frustrated because they will go to the commercial banks, and as you know, with commercial banks, I mean, even worse, they will look at your business plan and think, no, gee, this thing is not viable. Who's going to buy this product? And the guy gets frustrated. So hence, the advice we make is please do research your business proposition. Even if you become a farmer, even if you say I'm interested in farming, do research what product do you want to farm, and even if you've done that thorough research, who's going to buy this produce at the end of the day? So because you're going to harvest, you say, and you don't want to sit with a lot of harvest because otherwise it's going to be a waste of your time and resources. So it's also important, number two, to also talk to market and find out, get some intelligence. Which companies are interested at buying this product? Is this product in high demand or not? So often that's the key advice we give to small businesses, so that before you waste your time and other people's time, at least understand exactly whether this product or service is in high demand or not. You know, in my in this space of small business development for the last 20 years, when small businesses come and say we need money, we need funding, I say no, you don't need money. You don't need, you just need market. You need to access the market. If you access the market, it unlocks other opportunities, because then you don't need to borrow, because you can finance any other activities out of the contracts you have. Sometimes it's not off-take agreements, but for me, even if companies give you an expression of interest and say, Simon, we're interested in your product, so you can supply us. So you start at a small scale and then build that record of supplying on time at the right price and so on. So market, you're quite right, Simon. That's what we emphasize. We say to these guys, do study the market. And I think as government, we are fortunate in that we spend an awful amount of time talking to big companies, understanding from big companies what are the market opportunities for small companies. And I think the big businesses we've been speaking to are some of them, are very open and honest to say, look, these are some of the products that in the country we believe small companies can supply and become part of that value chain. And so that market intelligence gives us an opportunity to then come back to say to small businesses, we've gone to the demand side to understand what are the opportunities. Then it's easier to then try and get suppliers, people who can meet that demand. So that's really how we do it. Is first to talk to big companies and understand where opportunities are, and then come back to small businesses to say, look, there's an opportunity here for a small business to supply this type of a product or this service, and then who's available, and then we do the market linkages. I think it makes it easier. Though, of course, it's not easier because I'll make some examples. So one of the things we thought we should do is to target imports, because as South Africans, we most of the products we buy are produced in other countries. So then that gives us an opportunity. In fact, COVID, when borders were closed, you saw the shortages of goods actually opened up opportunities that some of the products can be produced in the country. And so that's where the discussion with big companies started. Things like toothpicks. People don't believe when I say toothpicks. It's imported. So the toothpick you buy and are using is not a toothpick produced in South Africa. And we say to people, because it's easier for big retailers to import these products, they often forget that local businesses can produce cotton buds, can produce a bath soap, can produce, even things like vegetables and fruit. There are products we import. And so for me, that's the starting point for market access, is to understand where at least we can intervene and get local suppliers to supply big companies.
That's really interesting. Can you tell us more about the types of products you have highlighted as good manufacturing opportunities for SMMEs?
So if you visit our website, which is dsbd.gov.za, DSBD is for the Department of Small Business Development. So we've published a list of 1,000 products and services. And the reason we published that list, again, is just a conversation with businesses in South Africa to say, look, when people say, but where are the opportunities? What can I do? So at least for a start, we said, let's publish a list so that when people download this list, they can go through the services and products and see, what can I do here? Because sometimes you do have an idea, but you don't know how exactly can this idea generate income for yourself. So for us, that's a starting point. So secondly, we've created various platforms for potential entrepreneurs or folks that would want to work with us, to get in touch with us. The first one is an SMME portal that we launched last year. It's SMME sa.gov.za. So that's the first portal where folks can register their details there, and then in the back end, we're able to get information on who are the businesses that are in certain spaces or producing or manufacturing the products we are actually looking forward to match with big companies. And the other methods, because we have two entities, because we are national government based in Pretoria, we do have two entities or agencies that report to us. One agency is responsible for non-financial support, and it's called the Small Enterprise Development Agency, SEDA in short. And it has all branches at least across the country. It might not be available in every town, but at least in every district in the country, you will find a SEDA office. And so small businesses can phone, can visit. Of course, now with all these COVID infections, maybe some in-person contact is probably minimized. But someone can phone into a SEDA branch and register your services and register your product. This is what I do. On workshops, you are quite right. We do host workshops and invite small businesses. And I think in other regions, we do work very closely with chambers of commerce. For instance, in Cape Town, I've spoken to the Cape Town Chamber of Commerce, and last week we were speaking to the Durban Chamber of Commerce. So we believe also there are platforms where we can build a relationship with chambers of commerce, because the chambers of commerce have members, and those members, some of them, are small businesses. Towards the end of 2019, the president launched a program called District Development Model, DDM in short. And the purpose of that program is to make sure when any projects or programs are launched within a district, all the key role players should work together. So the program is really emphasizing joint planning. And that can we plan together as government? Can we plan together with civil society, with the private sector? Because for now, we're still in silos. Even amongst government, I don't know what other government department is doing in the Northern Cape. So at least this program was launched in, I think, around October 2019. Obviously, it was launched in three areas. One, it was launched in OR Tambo district in the Eastern Cape, and the second launched was in Waterberg district in Limpopo, and the third launched was at eThekwini Metro. And so 2020 obviously kind of disrupted the this program gaining momentum in all, because in the country we have 44 districts and 8 metropolitan municipalities. So what government has then done is to deploy all of us to champion a district. For an example, I champion Sarabatman district in the Eastern Cape. So what that means is Mzi or Mzwanele champions this particular district. From time to time, I must visit, at least once a month, I must spend a week in Sarabatman, meet all the municipalities, meet all the stakeholders, the business chamber, who are the big industries, and interact with them. And so it's something at least we started last year, October, especially when we are on level 2 or level 1, at least when there's some traveling. So all of us who are deployed, so the folks deployed in Northern Cape, in Limpopo, that's what they do. You interact and build a relationship with stakeholders, because we are in national government, and therefore it's important to build that relationship with local government. And so you're quite right, because if we don't do that, there will be regions that lag behind. because you're right, resources are in Cape Town, Joburg, and Durban. And then, but what about a region that is far flung in a remote area? So I think the government's model on integration is actually seeking to address such challenges so that there is no region that doesn't receive information, because all the information only comes to Gauteng, Cape Town, and Durban. Yeah. I think it's a great initiative, because 44 of us are deployed to champion the development in that district. And so, as I say, the first thing you do is to do a stakeholder mapping. Identify in my district who are the key stakeholders. So you will identify the local government is obviously the very major stakeholder there. But secondly, you also identify private sector. So what we do, we do some sort of economic profiling to say, if you go to the Northern Cape, let's pick up any district there. You will say, in this district, what are the economic drivers? What's driving this district's economy? Is it agriculture? Is it manufacturing? Is it the services sector? Is it transport, logistics? Is it the green economy? Is it if it's closer to the coast, is it the oceans economy? Do people tap into that economy? And so that district champion has to do that mapping exercise. In my own district that I'm championing in Sarapatman, so the first thing I had to do was to identify the stakeholders. And secondly, I had to understand the economic drivers. And so in that district, agriculture is the key driver there. So people that are employed, majority of them are employed in the agricultural sector. Yeah, because that's the key. And again, I must understand what do they do in agriculture? What do they farm? What products are they farming? Are they participating in government programs of exports, for instance? If government is exporting agricultural products to Europe or to any other, is that district part of that value chain? And so and if the roads are bad, so I look at also the infrastructure, what type of infrastructure they have. The roads are bad, there's potholes, there are no street lamps, there's challenges with water. So I compile a report on all those challenges, and then my minister or deputy minister has to then lobby and talk to a relevant government department to say, but the state of roads in that district is so terrible. There are no investors that will go to that area. So those are, I think, it's still early days because it's something we started at least about 8 months ago. But at least with the work we're doing, we believe, we'll be able to lobby support so that if a district has shortages of water, the department responsible for water must really tell us, what is your budget? What budget do you have for this district? So when are you intending to put the infrastructure there? Because business, I'm sure, Simon, you remember the story of Clover in the northwest that is pulling out of Lichtenberg because the roads are bad, there's no water. So they are relocating their factory to Durban. And so I don't think there are any leaders who will want an investor to relocate because of challenges of water, electricity, and so on.
That really sounds like a lot of incredible opportunities for SMMEs. Any final pieces of advice for SMME owners?
For now, I may be promoting manufacturing. You're quite right. There's a need to also develop other sectors. So the services sector is very close to manufacturing. So there are opportunities there in the services sector because small businesses or anyone or entrepreneurs who want to venture into the services sector can actually identify opportunities. I think we've mentioned the areas of transport and logistics as very key, but also there's areas of storage and warehousing that sometimes people don't even think about. That when you now, for the manufacturers who are producing in bulk, where are they storing these products? For an example, there's a big company in South Africa, and this big company, doesn't want to focus on storage and warehousing. They just want to focus on what they do best. And when I was talking to them, telling me the area of storage and warehousing was contracted to another service provider or company, I said, wow, that's brilliant. Because I know sometimes you want to own that whole value chain, but sometimes give these things to others who can manage it better, because facilities on its own can be a headache. Because when you have that facility, it means you must look for the air conditioning, the lighting, the everything, the maintenance, and so it then diverts your attention to things that you shouldn't be wasting your time on. Get someone else who can do the services, and as a manufacturer, just focus on research and development, perfecting your product, and then in the services industry, then there's folks who can do marketing. Get a specialist who just specializes in marketing and branding to do that for you, who can do a television advert, a radio advert, and so on. Those are some of the service industry opportunities that other folks can venture into. Promotion, marketing, and so on. In fact, the Japanese economy grew so big specifically because of the identifying a niche market. In fact, then all the other countries copied the Japanese model. So the Americans, the British, in fact, of late, from the 1970s to the early 80s, the Chinese copied that Japanese model, which the Japanese did 300 years ago. Perfected. So the Chinese, in fact, now the China, as you see, the China is because they felt, let's get a village to specialize in producing one product. Get another village to do another component. Get another village, then another company must just do the assembly. Your niche market is just to assemble all these components from various folks. So the Chinese perfected that model. In South Africa, we still all over the place. We haven't gotten it right, so I'm hoping we're gonna get it right. Get small companies to, if you're talking of Mercedes-Benz or Ford or any car manufacturer, you can get folks that can just specialize on manufacturing the nuts. They become specialists in manufacturing nuts, and then others manufacture a part of a lamp or a bulb or whatever, and then you have a company that then just specializes in assembly, and another company specializes in distribution to the global market. In fact, yeah, that's why some folks get it right.
Really interesting information. Thanks for sharing this with us, Mzwanele.
Thank you for this opportunity to have a conversation on what government can do to enable small businesses to be successful and prosper, because I think that's government's agenda to get these small businesses successful. And in that process of success and wealth creation, we know they shall employ more people. And I think having studied entrepreneurship, I learned that, in fact, not everyone is going to be an entrepreneur. Others are just going to be good employees who are going to support a folk who has a vision. So those who have visions, a drive to be successful, you have a responsibility to grow and be responsible business owners. It's unfortunate that one or two cases we've seen big companies that grow big, but because the folks who run those companies are very irresponsible, negligent, those businesses end up collapsing, we call them we don't call it corruption, but I think there's a nice word, irregularities or something that they use. But for small businesses that are doing well, I think our desire is for them to really create wealth for themselves, but also end up employing others who are less fortunate. So this is a great conversation with the Riverside, and so you can get in touch with us on the if you visit any of our setup branches, or you can even contact the head office, or you can even Simon, some folks can even email me or talk to me. I don't know if I should share I can share my email if you think I can do that, so that the folks who get this kind of information can really be in touch with us, especially those that really want to make a difference in this country. I thank you.